youngest helicopter pilot to ever serve in the Royal Navy. By the age of 25, he was the most decorated peacetime naval pilot in history.
Rescue me, or take me in your arms. Rescue me, I want your tender charm.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming rescue and film pilot Jerry Grayson.
At 19? Seriously?
And I'm blue, I need you.
It's because they know that a checklist is a real living thing which encompasses all of the knowledge of everything that has gone before in that type of aircraft. Now, as a pilot, putting your wheels down before landing, it's kind of part of the job, really. So then the final bastion of arguments as to why you couldn't take girls to sea was because we didn't have enough toilets. Well, because when you ask a guy to jump into the water, you better be damn sure you can get him out of that water. I had given them the space during all of our training and practice to be able to say, I don't think we're up to this, or I don't think you're up to it, boss. And he jumped over the wrong side, and we lost him. Then I became a film pilot. Now, a film pilot does not spend his whole time doing stunts, flying under bridges and things. I mean, very occasionally, but most of the time you are collecting imagery. So you can see here that we've got a camera on the nose of the aircraft there, and I've got a cameraman sitting in the side open door with a handheld camera there. And I was lucky enough that my very first movie was James Bond: View to a Kill.
Meeting you with a view to a kill. Face to face in secret places, feel the chill.
When you're doing a James Bond movie, the director is going to ask you to fly faster, lower, closer than anybody has done to date. Because you can't make a James Bond movie and go, oh yeah, it was all right, it was a bit like the last one, really, wasn't it? You have to constantly have a little bit more spice in there. So there is huge pressure for you to fly closer, faster, lower. The important part of having a line defined in your head like that is that you can, very occasionally, with the consent of the other people around you, because it's a day that the conditions are okay, you might cross that line. The important thing is, it does not change where the line is. The other thing is about getting bomb happy. Here is Kuwait, just after the first Gulf War. And we went out in order to make a film for the German director Werner Herzog. The briefing was, don't drive through the lakes, because that's not water, that's oil. Good luck. We went, well, that's a safety brief. But he did say, just one thing just before you go, don't step on the little red flags, because the little red flags is where there are unexploded mines, so just try and avoid that. Right, okay. I have a theory that actually we are too adaptable. It's too easy to get to the point where you go, this is normal, this is the background, this is the wallpaper. And in this case, we were there for a couple of weeks, initially filming on the ground and then in the air. And by about day 3, we were like, ho-hum, another day at work in the burning oil field. Well, there's a danger to that. Here is where we went to have our picnic lunch on one of the days when we were filming on the ground. That's an Iraqi tank. It still had 3 bodies in it. The ordnance had been laid out by the Allied forces, and we had to tiptoe between the little red flags in order to get up to this rather good little position where we could take photographs, look at the tank, and have our packed lunch. This is madness. In retrospect, at the time it seemed normal. Because we're in a burning world. Every day we see little red flags with mines, that's okay. And it was only afterwards that I went, no. We went so far over the line, we came into the realms of being bomb happy. And this, I believe, honestly, is what happened to the banking industry. They didn't set out to be bad people, but when everybody else around you is doing slightly the wrong thing and slightly the wrong thing and slightly the wrong thing, pretty much you've all raced to the bottom, seems normal, you don't even question it. So don't get bomb happy, guys, because it'll bite you. That's where to find me. Thank you for listening.